Hello everyone and welcome back to the Tormek Live Sharpening Classes. We're back. As usual, we are at the Tormek headquarters here in Sweden, Lindesberg. Winter is rapidly approaching here in Sweden, and in the Nordics with winter comes darkness. But to compensate that, we bought new spotlights, which hopefully will, and we also have a new camera, which hopefully will make your experience even more pleasurable, we hope. Today's episode is episode number 7. We will be sharpening planer blades and we will be truing the stone with our TT-50. The planer blade jig attachment that we will be using is the SVH-320. I see there are people logging in from all over the world. It's really fun to see that there are this many following us. We are very humble to that. Before we get started, I think we should perhaps present ourselves, if for you who haven't seen us before. My name is Sebastian and I'm a country sales manager here at Tormek. I have countries a bit all over the world. I say Western Europe, Australia, South Africa, New Zealand and so forth. And with me, he got the confidence again after last show when he did an excellent job, and also he's our SVH-320 expert. Welcome back, Pontus.
Thank you. I'm Pontus and I'm COO here at Tormek and also a country sales manager for some of our countries.
Our most experienced sales manager at Tormek, I would say.
I've been here for a while.
Yeah, 25 years.
25 years,
Right.
yeah.
And behind the camera we have a new team member that we are very glad has joined us. Victor, welcome aboard, Victor.
Thank you.
He's the guy that has improved our technical things. Good. One last thing before I let Pontus get started. This is live, so please remember to ask questions and we'll do our best to answer them during the show. If you feel that we haven't answered your questions properly, please post or ask your question in the commentary below and we'll answer them afterwards in writing. Good. Should we get going with the TT-50?
Yes. The TT-50, you use this just to make the stone round and flat again if it's have been uneven. And this design is that it's a diamond tip that you runs over the stone and you feed it with those 2 feeding knobs.
And what could be said is when we sharpen planer blades, it's extremely important to have a perfectly flat stone.
Yeah.
So therefore we will start using the TT-50. Also, we have received a lot of questions regarding the TT-50, so we will go a bit more in depth to that.
Yeah.
This is a new design, right?
Yeah, it's a new design. It's a sink and also
it's a bit finer precision.
Yeah.
So the design is a bit more modern, but also it's a bit better precision, so you don't get vibrations when you go over. The old version works very well,
yes.
So you don't need this, but I find it very enjoyable to use. Should we show
how it works?
Yes.
Just put it on the universal support, and you have some legs here you have to put into this universal support leg, and then you lock it here in the locking knob on the back side like this, and then you start the machine, and you will find if you have a very uneven stone, you go to the highest point of the stone.
Yeah, and you try to
Yeah.
place it there. The same is if you have a very oval stone, you find where the stone is the highest.
And then you can see when it just touching the stone, you hear it like this. You stop the machine and then you feed out the diamond tip outside the stone, and then you have the scale of the micro adjust. You just put it 1 step up like this. It's like a tenth of a
I think it's
no,
0.25
0.25 millimeters.
Yes.
We start with that, and then you push over this micro adjust when you tighten the knobs.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. If you don't do that, if you push here, you can see it can be not straight.
Exactly.
Parallel. So it's important that you put over here and lock it. Anything else?
I would say I would recommend to take very shallow passes. I see sometimes people take deeper passes. I recommend take a shallow pass and do several passes.
Yeah,
is a better idea. Also, what we can mention here, this is not as important on this machine, which is quite robust, but if you have an older Tormek machine, we always want to start from the outside and go towards the inside, because that...
Yeah, sometimes before we had the older model, we have a plastic, the small model,
yeah.
1200. It could be some vibrations if you start from inside and go out, and so start outside and go into the machine.
Yeah.
And
this is not necessary for the T8 or for the bigger machines, but still there is no harm in doing this, having that as a...
And also you can think about when you're feeding this the truing tool, you can hold your hands up to this universal support and just feed it like this to stabilize it. So let's go. Let's go.
It might make some noise,
yeah.
But that's perfectly normal.
And you can feed it like 90 seconds. It will take approximately 90 seconds if you go straight ahead.
The faster you go, the rougher surface you will get.
Yes.
The slower you go, you will get a finer surface.
So sometimes if you want to get a rougher stone, if you have to remove a lot of material on the tool, you can feed it very quick over.
Yeah, and that is a good tip in general. You never get this, for those who don't know, but you can change the grit of the black stone and of the original stone from 220 until 1000. And when you take and you work the truing tool over, you get the stone as aggressive as possible. So it's a good way to make the stone aggressive when you want to remove a lot of material.
Yeah.
Also, what could be said is that I, in general, find people afraid of using the truing tool because they feel like they're eating a lot of stone. But that is not the case. I recommend to use a truing tool quite often because you will always have a stone in perfect condition. And if I have seen like nightmare examples when people have used their stone for 5 years and not threw it at all, then the whole stone looks like an egg. And what you have to do then is to remove a lot of material, so you will have to remove material eventually. So please don't use the TT-50 often, is my recommendation.
Yeah.
And as you see, Pontus did a good job, so it's perfectly flat. And now it's very rough. You can't feel that through the camera.
And if you feel it too rough when you have truing the tool, you can use the stone grader with the fine side and just
make it finer.
Make it finer again.
Exactly. And as for you viewers who are attentive, you see that this is not our original stone. This is a black stone. But the technique is exactly the same for our original stone. The reason why we're using the black stone today is that planer blades tend to be HSS steel or other harder steel alloys. And for those types of steel, the black stone is a bit more efficient and a bit quicker. It works perfectly well to do planer blades with original stone as well, but it's a bit quicker with the black stone.
Yes.
Good. That was a basic tips of how truing the stone, the black stone, the SG250, the SG200 for that cause as well. We also have had a lot of questions on support and so on. Is it possible to true the Japanese Waterstone, or do I need to true the Japanese Waterstone? The answer is you don't need to true the Japanese Waterstone unless you get a nick, you drop something, you get a tool inside of it. then you can use the TT-50 to make it perfectly flat again or to repair the stone. If you just get a small nick, we recommend to just use the stone grader here and remove the small nick. But if you have a bigger nick, feel free to use the TT-50 to make it, to restore it.
Yeah.
You have the Japanese Waterstone is a bit more fragile and brittle, so we have a small tip here how to do to avoid damaging the Japanese Waterstone.
I can show you, and we can also show you how to remove the stone with the easel lock.
This is also a support question sometimes.
Yes. You just use your hand power, and this hand is moving forward and this hand is moving backwards. Then you
comes off very easily. But if you don't know that it sits counterclockwise and you think you need to use a tool, we have seen people abusing the. And here also the machine, since it's counterclockwise, when you start the machine, it would automatically lock the stone in place. So it's very easy. So when you threw the Japanese Waterstone, take a light pass is one tip.
Light pass, yeah, and also that you start. We can start like we're feeding from outside again.
Yeah, up from the outside to the inside.
You start from one side. Like this, put it in and lock it as we did before. And then you can lower it. So see, touch the stone. Like this. Stop the machine. Go outside. And then just take a little bit.
So one number, half
one
a number.
number, yeah, and lock. And the tip is that you start throwing it from very slow from the beginning.
Yes.
Because it's some problems with the edge, that it could be losing some of the.
Yeah, since it's so brittle, the stone, you
yeah.
have to be very careful, and so feed it slowly. Also, as you might hear, I don't know if it goes through the camera, but the sound is more harmonic than on the black stone. It's because the stone is much finer than the other stones.
But when you're reaching the end of the stone, the trick is that you just stop the machine and open up and feed this out, the diamond tip, and then take it down and lock again, and then you feed it from outside again.
From the inside.
From the inside out instead.
The reason for that, you don't want the diamond tip to fall over the edge.
No.
Because if you do that, you might risk cracking the board of or the corner of the stone, which is not the end of the world either, but aesthetically it's more. And then you just go back to where you were when you stopped.
Then you have this flat stone.
Yes.
Now this stone was very flat before.
Here you see, you have a brand new stone. What could be said, it doesn't change the grit when you can't change the grit of the Japanese Waterstone. It's not necessary to throw it unless you find it very oval, which it's not very often, or if you have lost it or damaged it in some way, badly damaged, then you have the possibility to true it.
As you said, you don't need often.
No.
This stone is just polishing the tool.
Yeah, exactly. But since we sell quite a few machines around the world, we have people often at support that, oh, I have some accident happened with my Japanese Waterstone. Can I true it? And we wanted to have that on video, so you have it. Great. I think that's about it for the TT-50. Or do you have something you want to add?
I think that's all.
And I want to emphasize again, it's a good way, use the TT-50 often, and it's a good way to make the black stone and the original stone aggressive if you want to remove a lot of material. And if you know that you need to true your stone anyways, and you have a damaged tool, take the occasion in hand and repair that damaged tool. Yeah. Good. While you change back to the black stone and prepare for the planer blades, I thought we're going to try to ask or to answer some questions. Hopefully not ask them. We had a question from Timothy early on. Timothy will get back to you at the end of the episode and try to explain that a bit more. We have Alvaro from Peru. He has a Tormek 7 system that he bought in Austria. Unfortunately, in Peru, these precious tools are not found. No, we don't have an importer in Peru at this moment, but we have resellers around the world that can send machines all over the world.
Yes.
So if you want to buy something, you can send a mail to support@tormek.se, and we'll try to put you in contact with a dealer that
can send to Peru.
Yes. Yeah. Lyndon is asking, is it advised to empty the stone grit from the water throw after truing the stone but before starting a sharpening session? This is not necessary to do, but if you have trued the stone several times, at the end it's almost not water, it's more like clay. Yeah. So it could, if you true the stone once, but if you true it several times, I think it could be good to change the water. Yeah, but it doesn't affect the sharpening in any way negatively if you have.
No, but if it's too much, then it comes with the stone.
Yeah, exactly, and that's not nice. So after several truings, you can change the water. Graham Smith, I have a question. The stone on my Tormek gets very dark lines and stains in a very quickly even after truing it up. What can I do about it? It's difficult to answer, Graham, when I don't know how your stone looks. Please send your pictures to support@tormek.se, and we'll look at the pictures and try to explain what might be the reason. Brain Fizz, I'm literally sitting on my couch waiting for my TT-50 to be delivered this afternoon. Perfect. Perfect timing. And then we have Brad. I'm truing my SG-250 this week and ended up with diagonal chatter marks on the last centimeter of width of the stone as I moved across. Is that issue due to technique? You might have been a bit quick, would be my guess, or a bit deep if it gets chatter the last.
Yeah.
Also, this precision is a bit finer than the old one. You can get a bit more shatter, but still it works perfectly well with the old one as well. So I would try to redo it and do it even more slowly, and very shallow passes would be my recommendation. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's correct.
Great. That sums it up for the questions so far. I think we move on to today's main event, the planer blades and the SVH-320. Please, go ahead, Pontus.
Yeah, this planer blade attachment comes with this support and a adjust knob, and also the blade holder. So this is
two pieces.
Two pieces, and it's quite well. It's a tricky one to learn, but when you have done it, sometimes it's easy to use, and you have a nice result.
Yeah, if you know how to do the settings,
Yeah.
then when you start sharpening, it's very easy, but you have to get the settings right.
Yes.
What could be said also is that this is one of the only jigs where you don't use a normal universal support. You have these two even more fine-tuned micro adjustments.
Yes, the two micro adjustments, they is 1/10 of a millimeter
Yeah.
setting every number.
And it's because it's important to get the planer blades absolutely parallel when you sharpen. And as we said before, remember to always have a perfectly flat stone when you get started, so through your stone.
Yeah, and this is totally flat. Then you put the support in here instead of the universal support. And then you have this blade holder, and you put the blade with the angle, well, down, and you put it to the stop inside here, all the way, and lock with the knobs.
What could be said here is that this is a quite small planer blades. We have way longer planer blades
That
sometimes.
you have longer like this.
Yes. This takes up till about 300 we recommend. It takes 310, but we recommend perhaps 280 or something like that. But you can have theoretically, or you can sharpen as long planer blades as you want. The only thing you do it in several passes. So you will sharpen this first, and then you will push it across and take next. So you could have a 4 meter long planer blade if you wanted. A 4 meter would take quite some time since it's heavy steel.
Yeah.
It's a lot of material to remove, but there is no limitations in length.
Yeah. And we can say that if you have a lot of nicks in your blades, it takes a lot of time to remove the nicks.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect if you want to just get a little nicer shape on them if they have small nicks.
If you have small nicks and you want to sharpen this is perfect. You can also sharpen larger nicks, but you have to have patience because it takes a lot of time. So if you have a really bad nick, I would almost recommend send it away, get that bad nick repaired. But it's a perfect tool to sharpen planer blades. But for you who use planer blades, you know, sometimes you have you run into a nail in a piece of wood or something like that, and that can really make a bad nick.
Then you just put it here on the support, and then you have this Allen key that comes also with the attachment, and this is just to set the stop over here. So when you slide over the stone, so it's stopped, so you don't get over the edge like this. So you put it here, so you have the stop here, and lock it, and you have a stop, wrong side. Like this, and then you move it over to this side, and you have the stop over here.
So you won't risk to fall off when sharpening.
And now time to set the angle.
Yes.
And
you want to repeat the same angle.
yes.
And then
so easy to set the angle. Help is to use a black marker pen, so you can see when you make the setting that it takes the right place. Do it like this.
And the reason you want to repeat the same angle is that there is an angle set for the machine which is made for the machine, but also that it's way quicker if you repeat the same angle.
And if you see here, Victor, on this side, we have those two. First, you make this; those two help you to set the first setting.
Yeah,
So
basic setting.
Yeah, so you can find the right edge angle. And now this tricky one. You just raising those up so you can find the right angle, and you have also this fine adjust knob, so you can see how it works. And it's important that the support and the blade holder are together. It will be
Yeah, so the snug fit.
snug fit, yeah. So it should not be like this. It should be, you can see like this, when you set the angle.
And what we do first with the basic setting, or the basic setting, is that we try to look with our bare eye that it looks as aligned as possible, or on the edge.
On the edge here. So you find it.
Just by looking first.
Yeah. And then you use the stone. Look how it takes. So it takes all the way. So you have the right angle. And if you can do it like this too. So see, it's almost there. You should take a little bit more on the...
Exactly, so you want it to take across all the bevel,
Yeah.
to make sure you're on perfect height. If you only take on the tip, you are too high up. If you take only on the base, you're too low up. So you want it to take across
Yeah.
the whole bevel.
So you just, you have to take a little bit more on the tip. You raising those numbers up. Like this. And then you have to be sure that the support and the blade holder is at the same time. And then you push down the jig and lock. And then you should check if the jig is parallel to the stone. Then you take the adjust knob and move it up, and then you take a piece of paper, a thin paper, on the one side, and make sure it's stuck. Then you make the same thing on the other side. Then you know that it will be parallel.
And now Pontus did a good job. It will also show you if you haven't a perfectly flat stone.
Yes.
So this is a very important setting to make sure that you're completely parallel.
And if it's not, then you have to change those fine adjustments again and push down the jig again.
Yeah.
So if it's not
Since you have two
parallel.
micro adjustments,
Yeah.
you can level it and make sure it's completely straight.
Yeah. And also you can see here, it's no gap between here now. It should be tight, almost tight. And now you should set the
Cutting depth.
cutting depth. And then you do it like this. It's now to show you more, so it's, you put it here, you take 3 steps, so 0.3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you open them up and push down the jig and lock. Then you will have this gap between the support bar and the blade holder, and this is the depth you should sharpen. And if you have longer blades, you move them.
Yeah, you move them across, and
then you will have this the gap again. So you sharpen all the way till this blade holder is down to this support.
And that's why you can sharpen that long blades, because you will always have the same depth all along the very long planer blade. Good. As often I come back to in this episodes is with the Tormek system, please take your time when you do the settings. You will get a better result, but you will also gain time in the end. So it's very easy. Once you get all the settings right, it's just to go. It's no problem. But please take your time to make sure you get all the settings. That is.
Let's see how it works. Sharpen back and forward.
What we forgot,
yes,
that is included in the T8 is this. It gets a bit wet sometimes, but you have this that helps you pick up some of the water. People sometimes, when they get a new Tormek, ask, "What is that for?" And here you have the answer.
and just push it. So have a light pressure all the way.
Yes. The more pressure you put, the more water it will spill as well. We threw the stone before, which make the black stone very aggressive. But when we sharpen a hard steel like this HSS steel, the stone will become finer and finer. So what you can do if you have a bad nick and you want to remove a lot of material is to use the rough side of the stone grader every now and then to roughen up the stone again.
So if you sharpen a blade that has a lot of nicks, and you can hear that the sound that it not takes so much material away now.
No.
You just remove this one, and you take the stone grader. You can show Sebastian, and you just make it more aggressive again.
It's almost, I don't know if you can see it in the stone, but you can, and either you do it like this or this way as you prefer.
This will help you to remove more material on your blades quicker.
We'll see if Pontus gets started again.
Yeah, you can hear the sound that it takes more now.
I don't know if it goes through the camera, but the sound is again more aggressive than it was just a second ago. It takes a little time sharpening since it's hard steel. It's
but
quite a big tool.
You can feel the burr on the other side all the way. So you sharpen all the way down to the end. And if you have the second blade or the third blade, you just remove this one, take another blade, and then you have the same settings, and you can continue to sharpen the other blades.
You have already set everything. You just make sure to push it all the way in and lock, and you're good to go.
And if you have longer blades, you just move them
over,
and then you have this gap again, and then you have a sharpening. You can't see where you have.
No, there is no.
What do you say?
Where you change or where you push over the blade.
Can't see it. So, I think
now we're done with the sharpening.
Yeah, and then you go to the honing wheel, and you put some
honing paste.
Honing paste. I can take this one. I think this is the used one. I usually keep the blade in the blade holder when I hone this. You can otherwise remove it, but then you can just find the angle. And the back side, just take away the burr.
Very nice result.
Yeah.
Have a good day at the office. Perfect. I think that was it. We had a question before the show started from Timothy, and he talked about Morso copper blades. I'm not fully aware of what Morso copper blade is, but I think it's some kind of guillotine blade, right?
I think so. We looked through it, and you can sharpen them too.
We don't have one with us today, unfortunately.
But the thing you can do, if you have, they are quite thick and also a longer blades.
Yeah.
Or wider.
Yeah.
So you need to remove some of the knobs and the pin down here, so you can take the blade so it come up here instead.
Yeah.
So you can set the angle.
So if you have like longer blades like this, you can remove some of the knobs, and then you have to make sure it's parallel up there, since you don't have a stop. But that is a solution for.
Yeah, because if you take away those, then it will.
You can have even longer blades that way.
Like this. But it's if it's very thick blades, it takes some time to remove material.
Yes. Great. Thank you, Pontus. I think we have quite a few questions here that we will try to answer. We have Jesper from our neighboring Denmark. How can I sharpen ceramic knives? To sharpen ceramic knives, we recommend our diamond wheels, since ceramic knives are very hard, but diamond is even harder, so it works perfectly well sharpening ceramic knives on our diamond wheels. William is asking, how do you keep from having a high or low spots in the middle of a 20-inch long planer knife? I think it's important to have the stone perfectly flat, and to make sure that it's perfectly parallel is the two keys to get a good result. Good. We have someone from the Arabic world that have got a Tormek TA today. Graham Smith, is it best to use a whiteboard marker or permanent marker?
A permanent marker?
Yeah, I would recommend that since you sharpen it off. We're launching a Tormek permanent marker this spring. It works well with other permanent markers as well, but and it will be also included in the T8. I think it's already included in the T8, but you will be able to buy it separately as well during the spring 2021. Alejandro, good evening, guys. How much one use items Tormek 7 and they are complete accessories best in your videos? I don't really understand the questions. We'll see. Muhad, until today, I still do not see how we can sharpen cutting hook knives using this machine. We will have a special episode. I think a cutting hook knife is one that is bent like that. We will have a hunting episode where we will sharpen these hook knives. So we will go more into depth with that. But what you have to do is to round off the edge of the stone, and then you can use the jig, but often almost most easily freehand. So you put a permanent marker, round it off, and you try to follow the bevel like this. That is how you sharpen a hook knife. It takes a bit more practice than with our jigs, and we'll go through more thoroughly in the hunting episode. We will also up ahead have a advanced knife episode, so it might be discussed there as well. Jan Lyneborg, I have been using planer jig for my T8 for a few years now. Used to use the black stone, but have changed to the diamond stone range. My blades are 260 centimeter TCT. What diamond stone do you recommend? I don't know exactly what TCT 260s, but we would come to that, was our plan. This diamond wheels are excellent for sharpening the planer blades. First of all, they are always guaranteed flat. Diamond is very hard, and this is hard steel, where diamond is perfect. The reason why we used the Blackstone today was that we wanted to show the truing tool, so it was for pedagogical reasons, I would say.
Yeah.
I would recommend, I think, the Diamond Fine for planer blades. It's 600 grit. It's our more versatile diamond. You remove material,
Yeah.
but still get a quite good finish.
If you have a lot of material that you will like to remove, you should have the coarse wheel.
Yes.
But I think the fine is that if you want to buy one diamond wheel, you should buy the fine one, the
and
600 grit.
And if you want to be really quick, you buy the coarse and the fine then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. We'll see. John is saying, hi, I prefer to stand in front of the machine. Is there a fixed rule? No, John, there are no fixed rules. We always stand behind the machine because we are used to demonstrating the machine,
Yeah.
and it is easier for you to see.
I can see if I should sharpen, I think it's quite easier to stand like this.
Yeah, it's more natural in a way.
Yeah.
We are used always standing, since we're demonstrating, behind the machine.
Yeah.
But we tend to say there is, as long as you get a good result and you feel stand how you feel comfortable is the best tip.
Yes.
Michael is asking, which tool holder is best for sharpening scrapers? That would be the
SVD 110? Is that kind of
yes.
scrape, or is it
I think
turning scrapers, or is it
I don't know really which type of scraper it is. We have two different. If it's turning scrapers, this is the jig to go to, and I would put it. We are, if it's turning tools, we're having a turning tool episode coming up mid-November, I think it is, where we'll go through all turning tools. But if it is a turning tool scraper, the easiest is to put it up here. Then you put the scraper here, black marker, you find the right angle, and then you pull the scraper back and forth.
Yeah. Or if you have a side nose scraper, you can use it from this side also. And then you put your scraper here, doing back and forward.
But please tune in mid-November. We will have a whole episode just with all the different turning tools.
Yeah.
William is asking, can you use the complete jig for honing, the planer blade jig? Theoretically, that would be possible. Most of but I don't find it necessary. The leather honing wheel is a soft material.
Yeah.
The planer blades are very hard, so even if you're not perfectly on the perfect angle, you won't damage the edge, I would say.
You can't do it. You have to do it
exactly.
not against
I know
the-
exactly. So that's the problem.
the leather,
Yeah,
so you have to do it away from the leather.
So you can't use the jig.
No.
Thank you, Pontus. I had. We could have had an accident there otherwise.
Yeah.
How narrow blade can be sharpened? My jointing blades are quite worn and narrow.
It's up till 13 millimeter wide.
Is the minimum.
Yeah.
Great. Brian bought a new T8 and there was no marker. Perhaps it's an older version. I think those shipments from now forwards have a black marker in them. Otherwise, they will be able to buy very soon. How can I buy honing paste? What's the alternative paste available? The honing paste is sold separately, so you can buy it by and that is our only honing paste we have. It's PA70 it's called, and you can buy it in all local Tormek dealers. And Jan is TCT is tungsten carbide teeth. Thank you for that info. Martin Breton, to have the stone more aggressive, is this a good idea to use the universal older as well as the stone to keep it flat? I don't really understand the question. Sorry, Martin. Please write the question and I'll try to answer it afterwards. How do I sharpen a draw knife? Help me, Pontus. What is a draw knife? I don't remember. Yeah, that's thank you.
You can use the knife jig.
We're a bit outside. Here we have a draw knife. And you use the knife jig that we find there, perhaps. So you set the draw knife like this. There, you lock it up. And then you can either use the black marker or whatever, or the angle master. And then you just set it like this. Find the correct angle, lock it up, and then you pull back and forth. Is a way to. I think we have gone through that on an earlier episode. I think it's episode 3, so please go back to episode 3 and you will get more in depth how you sharpen a draw knife. Aussie Crow is asking how to keep the honing wheel fresh when apply the paste and run the blade against it. It seems to dry out relatively quick.
If you put some oil on the honing wheel, it seems, I don't think you have to put some more oil.
Yeah. So if there is oil included in the T8, I don't often find it dry, but if you feel it too dry, put the oil that was included in the machine.
Yeah. Otherwise you just use some thin machine oil.
Yeah. I often find people, on the contrary, have too much oil on the honing wheel. You want to have a certain friction to remove the burr, so you don't want it to oil and just moving away. Also, there is oil in the honing paste, so if you use it quite regularly, you won't have it too dry. But otherwise, you can use sewing machine oil or whatever oil. Great. I think our time is up, Pontus. Good job. You showed that experience matters. Thank you, all the viewers. If you feel that we haven't answered all your questions, please ask them in the commentary below and we'll answer them in writing afterwards. I hope the light made Pontus even more beautiful and that you had a good experience with all the new technique. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay sharp. Thank you.
Thank you.